If you've joined us online on Facebook, please in the comments say Johnny's mom or whoever, first and last name, so we make sure we know who all has been a part of this meeting. It is 12 o'clock and I am going to be very diligent in respecting the hour time that I've asked you to give me. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're coming in, come on in. If you have multiple children, we're asking that you sit with the youngest child's grade level, okay? And you will get all the information for all grade levels for your children, okay? Thank you for meeting with us. It's hard to believe that after 5 months, it's now time for us to kick off a new school year. And I am so excited to have this opportunity finally. And my staff is elated to be getting our students back. And they're looking forward to tomorrow being able to see all of their faces and get to know them a little bit. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Your teachers have a whole lot of information they're going to hand off to you. And we've got some things that we need to talk about. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. First of all, our theme for this year is Coram Deo. That is Latin for living life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, and for the glory of God. And that's what we're going to be focusing on this year with our students as we go throughout each and every day. No matter what life throws at us, it's all for His honor and glory, and it's all in how we're going to approach it. And so that's our theme, and we wanted to throw that out there to you. If you've seen Professor YGT on Facebook yesterday, Professor YGT has struggled through that and introduced that. And if you've not done that, please do so. Let your kids watch that. They'll get a kick out of Professor YGT. We woke her up yesterday, and she's been running around the building being a little crazy. So let's get started real quick. I've got a whole list of things before I turn it over to Gabby this morning. If you have not turned in all of your paperwork to Miss Jennifer in the office, either do that today or send it with your students on Thursday morning. We are excited to say if you go to our CHA website, you can get all the paperwork right there. You go to About Us and go to the re-register because you're already an existing family, and all the paperwork is right there. If you've lost your packet, you don't have to come get another one. Just go there and send it back to us through that medium, and Miss Jennifer will get them. Okay, I'm excited. Miss Gabby has worked really hard this summer to get that up and going for us. So check out our website for that. Also, we will need to have a copy of your driver's license and insurance card. Our website also has links and lots of other information. So if you've not checked out our website in a while, because we've not been real diligent with it, but we are now. So please go check that out. There's lots of resources on there, things that you may even need to be using throughout the school year. If you've not dropped off your student supplies, you have today and tomorrow to do that. On Thursday, I cannot allow you back in the building. That breaks my heart. Please know that, okay? But that's just the way it is, and we're going to go with it, and we're going to make the best of it, okay? So if you bring school supplies on Thursday, your student's going to have to get those in here. While I'm talking about Thursday, we are not going to be meeting in Fellowship Hall like we normally do. We're moving out to the parking lot so you can be a part of the first day of school like we've always done. And so we are asking that if you're staying for our morning assembly, that you park out front where I normally don't let you park at. We're breaking all the rules. So park out there and then walk over to the parking lot. If you're just dropping your student off, you'll clearly see we have the whole area on Wednesday night. We'll mark it all off with caution tape. You can then drop your student off. There'll be a teacher there. We have to take temps every day. We'll do that. We'll have to take your temp that morning in order to allow you to be inside of our safe area, okay? But we're excited that you're going to be able to be a part of that. But you cannot leave from there and come into the building, okay? And we will have our first day of school photo shoot out there as well, so you can take pictures with that. If there's not enough parking out here, I will have a gentleman who can direct you to a specific area of that Sierra parking lot, but it would be helpful because our kids are out there for you not to park there. There should be plenty out here in this whole front area, but if not, just know we can make that happen as well. On the first day of school, all human beings attending morning celebration has to have a mask, okay? Students included, all right? Students and adults have to have a mask. My students every morning when they get out of your car have to have a mask to come in the fellowship hall. And the whole time that we're together as a school, they have to have a mask on. Once they go to their classroom in their family units, that's a little bit different, and your teachers will talk to you about that. Please talk with your students if you haven't already. We all have different opinions about masks, okay? But we're going to respect each other's opinions on that, okay? And so I need your help to help us with that. I will tell you up front, I will not be a mask Nazi. My staff will not be a mask Nazi. I understand if you are adamant that your child is to wear their mask all day in class, we will respect that and we will continue to encourage your child to keep it on. But I'm not going to discipline any child because they can't keep their mask on. I will tell you I have one student who has some severe health issues, and that student will not have a mask on all the time. It will be in very short increments, like when we're in morning celebration. And so just know I do have one student like that. She's going to do her best to wear it as long as she can, but just know that for specific health reasons that you may see a young lady that's not have it on, okay? Morning drop-off, we talked about that. Mask policy, we talked about that. The other thing, our church has put cameras in all of our rooms, and we had them in our hallways. I'm excited about that. That is a safety precaution for our staff, our students, and for our church as a whole. They are recording. They will not be recorded live. There will be nothing taken from that and plastered anywhere. It is just recorded and left on our server for security purposes, okay? I just need to let you know that will be recording each and every day. You have two options, what we're calling traditional learning in the classroom, and then virtual learning. We do have a few students families have chosen to start out virtual learning. Once you start virtual learning, you have to finish the 6 weeks in that medium, okay? Now, if your student is coming to school and you've chosen traditional, and let's say 3 weeks in, they need to do virtual, they can go and do that, but they cannot come back till the end of that 6 weeks, okay? Just making that clear. Now, if we send your child home sick, let's say they've got an ear infection or strep throat or something like that, and they're out for a day or two, that doesn't mean they can't come back, okay? There's a difference on that. And those who are doing virtual, we are requiring them to be with us online with their teachers, what we're saying bell to bell. Now, if they go have a restroom break, the teachers will talk with them about that. If their class goes to PE, they don't have to be online with us during that time. The teacher will tell them what time they got to get back on, things like that. Please know that we have tried to think of every conceivable scenario that we're going to have to encounter. I feel very confident after I got to be a part of the city leadership meeting where I met with other superintendents and principals and our city. I'm very excited to say that we are on our game. Our staff has done a great job. We have a COVID policy in place. I've been running the daycare since all this chaos started, and I am proud to say that we've not had a single case in our daycare, staff or children. The only 2 kids we've sent home had ear infections. That's the only fever cases that we've had. So I feel like if we can do that in a daycare where 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds are in your bubble, chewing on, licking on everything else, and not having sickness, I think I can do it with our school-age kids, okay? So all the policies we're doing in the daycare is coming up to the school, plus a few more, okay? So I just want you to know, I want you to be confident in us of what we're doing. I'm also excited to tell you that every classroom, PIO, because of our fundraisers, we're able to purchase room air purifiers. Actually, someone donated the money specifically for that. So every classroom will have an air purifier in the room. PIO did purchase, excuse me, I'm not used to talking so much. The diffusers for the essential oils, we'll have those. The oils that will be used, there's only 2 that are designed specifically for children, do not have strong aromas. We've tested them in Ms. Jennifer's small office, just as another measure of helping to prevent that are respiratory and I forget what they're geared towards, but 2 specific ones that will alternate with that as well. And then a couple of classrooms, we've mounted some corner fans to help circulate the air in those rooms because they don't have windows. So there's lots of things that we've done. I'm excited, and I feel like we're going to do a great job as we go throughout this year. All right. One other thing actually there's a couple more things, but passwords. When we did the virtual last school year, students kept forgetting passwords, supposedly. So what we've done this year is, I don't care what your student's password was last year, it doesn't matter. Everybody's password this year for students is their first initial or their first name. So mine would be TPCHA 2020 ***. What I'm asking you to do is sometime today or tomorrow, go in your phone, under your contacts, type in Jupiter Ed, where you put email, instead just put password, your child's initials, CHA 2020 ***, so that if you're out somewhere and grandma's taking care of them and they don't remember their password, all you gotta do is pull up that contact, send it to her, and she's good to go. Okay, we've made it universal for all of our students. First initial, first name, last name, CHA 2020 ***. Okay? Lunchtime. The whole month of August, you have to send a lunch kit with your student, okay? We're still working through those details of being able to provide lunch like we've done in the past. So for the month of August, we're saying we're not providing anything. We won't have pizza day. We won't have hot dog Frito pie day. It is a lunch kit every day for the month of August. We'll try to keep reminding you of that, okay? And our classes are going to be split up into 3 or 4 different rooms to eat. We're trying our very best to keep these as family units as we go throughout our day. There are assigned bathrooms that each class has to go to. Also, all of our students are old enough that they can hold it for a few minutes. The teachers will have a few more bathroom breaks, but it's all or none. Okay, so the whole class goes to the bathroom together, or no one goes to the bathroom. Okay? So remind your students of that. We don't have the freedom to just go, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, unless they're going to puke or poop all over themselves. Then I need them to go, okay? But other than that, it's all or none, okay? So if you just remind your students that they are old enough to hold it for a few minutes, okay? We got cleaning protocols. If your child forgets a lunch and you need to bring a lunch, by the drive-through ramp doors, we will have a table. We ask that you we'll have some markers there. You put your child's lunch there, you write their name on it, and then we'll make sure they get it. You don't have to come tell Miss Jennifer or anything like that. She'll continually be watching. Of course, she'll be letting you in to do that to begin with, but that way we can minimize any traffic throughout the building. Let me stress to you, last year was a transition year on lunches, on peanuts, on peanut butter. This year, I have 2 students who are severely allergic to nuts. It is adamant that you do not send your child to school with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Nutella is fine, okay? There are other things that they can bring instead of that. Peanut butter is forbidden. Nuts are forbidden, okay? Please, please make that a priority. Please, please talk with your students about that. When you get a Lunchable and it's got a Reese's peanut butter cup in it, they can't have that, okay? Keep that in mind as you're preparing lunches, okay? Let me defer that. Can you answer that one for me? Wild butter? W-O. Thank you. Wow butter, he said. Processed in. okay? I appreciate, we want those questions, okay? I'm still learning what you can and can't, okay? So I'm always going to defer to the wise ones. Right. But I just need to remind you of that, okay? We've really got to change that mindset this year. Last year was our transition time, okay? Please make sure your student brings a refillable water bottle to school each day. The water fountains can only be used to fill water bottles. They cannot drink from the water fountains, okay? Even our little guys are doing well with that, okay? They have little cups that they have to fill. All right, so please make sure it's a refillable water bottle with their name on it, and we will help them to sanitize it each and every day. T-shirts, your teachers have asked you on Dojo T-shirt sizes for your kids. If you've not answered them on that today, they will ask that again. And then on Thursday, we'll be sending home a form for you to order any extras that you want. You're only telling your teacher the student size that they need, okay? And please remember, if you're ordering through Amazon, to go through Smiles Amazon and pick CHA as your school for the donation to go through. You would be amazed at how much that helps us with the resources that come in through that. It doesn't change anything else in your settings at all. You just have to go through Smiles Amazon. And there's a way to do that on your phone. And Gabby may touch on that too before we get started, or before we leave here today. Also, Kroger's, remember you got to enroll in that each and every year. And then the schoolstore.com is another one that you need to make sure that you register on. And we will have, if you will see Miss Jennifer at the table as you leave, she has an instruction sheet for Kroger's, for the schoolstore.com, and then for the Amazon Smiles and Office Depot. If you don't know the Office Depot code for CHA, if you just tell them at the register, they'll look it up, okay? All right, I think that's mainly my stuff that I need to present. Do you have any questions for me? Because our whole purpose in this hour is because we need to go over the two mediums that we're using, okay? For two purposes. One, for those who are doing virtual, and two, in case, which is a good chance it could happen, to where your student would have to go home and be virtual once again, okay? And so it's really important that you understand how this works, okay? I think a lot of us have a better understanding than what we did last March when we got in that mode. But there's lots of things that have changed, a lot of things that Jupiter has made so much easier for you guys. And we need to walk through some of those things, and then also the dojo stuff. So if you brought your iPad or your laptop, now's the time for it. If you need to connect with an internet, Gabby can walk you through that real quick. Just holler at us real quick, and we can get that done as well. Ms. Stanton? That's okay. All right, Miss Gabby, if you have joined us on our Facebook page, please in the comments say Johnny Smith's mom, so that we know that you have met with us during this time, okay? I'm going to let Gabby share some things with you. She's got a PowerPoint. Do we have that up and going, Miss Sandy? All right, there we go. All right, again, two mediums that we're using. We were doing three, and they have made that easier for us already before we even got started. So give Gabby your attention, and hopefully she can answer all your questions. But if not, she'll answer those before you leave, okay?
All right. On the Amazon Smiles, I was playing with that a whole lot this morning. It was complicated, but I tried to make it as least complicated as possible. So with the family store, we made it a packet. On the back or the second page is instructions on how to do the Amazon Smiles, like step by step with multiple different, so if you already have it and you didn't do it, different things like that. And then the last page is how to create Jupiter Ed as an icon, whether you're using an Apple device or if you're doing it on your PC. Jupiter does not have an app, so you do have to create one, and so I made those instructions on there. So we are using two platforms this year. We're doing Classroom Dojo and Jupiter Ed. Classroom Dojo is basically a Facebook for kids and parents, but it's super safe and it's only our schools. So if you'll pop up all right. So what it's going to originally do is it's going to remove Remind, so we're no longer going to use Remind. Your teacher may use it, but hopefully we'll just do strictly Classroom Dojo. Ms. Tammy's also able to push out different events as an administrator. You can see all your child's feedback from teachers, hear important announcements and updates, and see photos and videos from class. Also, you'll be able to see your child's classroom, classwork if the teachers upload it. Your teachers will also need to invite you to join their class. If you have not joined Classroom Dojo or Jupiter Ed yet, you have to do that this year. Like, it is super, super important. You're going to miss events, you're going to miss instructions, you're going to miss a whole lot of vital information, because we're trying to limit text messaging and phone calls and all of that different things, because let's be honest, we're going to get really busy and you may not be able to answer your phone right then or answer that text, and you won't be able to answer it until, let's say, 3 days later. Well, we already needed that information. So, and no more emails. I know we did like 20 a day at one point in time, but we're going to try and limit that as well. Teachers control usernames and passwords, so if there is an issue, they will have to reset it. So I'm going to be super busy running a lot of other things. So last year I was able to reset Jupiter and other accounts that your student had, but now your teacher is able to do that so they can handle their classrooms. Information is private only to you and your student and their teachers. So even though it's a classroom full of, let's say, 16 kids, they're not going to be able to see Johnny's work or Sally's work. Internet password. I have no idea which ones are popping up though. What is SSBC CHA's password? Is that the... Okay, so it is lowercase SSBC, and then it is capital C, capital H, capital A, and then 1500. So Southside Baptist Church, SSBC, all lowercase, and then capital C, capital H, capital A for Christian Heritage Academy, and 1500, because we are located on 1500 Crockett Road. Yeah, if that does not work, let me know. Who has not joined, I guess is the better question. Yeah, there's, we should have just made one junior high. Your teacher should have sent, yes, you didn't. Password, lowercase, SSBC, all caps, CHA, 1500. Your teacher should have sent you an invite to Classroom Dojo via email or text message if they had your phone number. It'll look like this, and you'll have a blue link. If you just click the blue link, it'll take you to the parent setup. Go ahead, go to the next slide, Sandy. Yes. Okay, so you only need to accept one, and you will automatically be on the school-wide one. So once you select the link, whether it was via email or text, it'll take you to step one, which is asking if this person is your child. And you just click, yes, this is my child. If it's a different child and you don't recognize it, then you would say, I don't recognize this student. Step 2 is setting up your parent account. And step 3, you are now able to see the classroom story and your child's information. Does anybody need assistance? We do have teachers who are trained on this. All right, Miss Denise. Awesome. Thank you, Kaylee. Does anybody else need assistance getting on? Yes, Mother. The internet. Okay, give me 1 second. Take this off. All right. Is everybody ready to move on just a little bit? All right. So I'm just going to tell you some of the basic things that you do. So if you're looking at, let's say you have multiple students and it's not just one, you select the student that you want to look at. Some people have multiple kids in multiple classes, but you're also just able to click which student you want, and then you can see their classroom story. The next slide, you can, if you're going to message teachers, this is how we ask you to talk to your teachers, because something new this year is what we have quiet hours. And so let's say that teachers are able to respond from, if they set it up from 7:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night, then from after 5 o'clock until 7:30, it's what's called their quiet hours. It will send you a response that says, this teacher is not able to respond to your message at this time, but will respond as soon as they get it. That just gives us the time to enjoy our families, and not that we don't appreciate and want to help you right that minute, but sometimes I know I have a 1-year-old that's running around, and I can't necessarily answer that question right there, or it's not fair to my own family to stop what I'm doing during my family time to assist out of work hours. Not that we don't want to, but I just know that we are go-getters and we do want to stop everything to help y'all. That's just how our servant hearts are, but it's just not fair to our family. So this also allows us to have quiet hours. You can switch between conversations just like you would on Facebook or your text messaging. You can switch back and forth between your home screen and your messages, and you can switch between which class you want to see if you have multiple teachers, like with junior high. Talks about this is what your class story will look like. The next one, connecting to your child's teacher on Class Dojo will also allow you to do the following. And then there is, I printed out this PowerPoint, so you have access to this, so if you want to go over the review points and different things like that. So that's that platform. Are there any questions about that or need help with that? Cool, let's hop to the next one. All right, Jupiter Ed. This one is, in my opinion, a little bit more important than Classroom Dojo. Classroom Dojo is mainly for communication between the teachers, the school, but this one is how you do your virtual learning. This is how you see your assignments, turn in assignments, see due dates, and just anything and everything. This is our go-to platform. So Jupiter Ed, this is super important. You have to make sure if the student is a student, they need to use the student tab. If a parent is a parent, they need to use the parent tab. Last year we had a couple of students signing in under their parents. You cannot turn in assignments that way because you're a parent. So again, if the student is logging on and they're doing virtual learning, they need to log in as a student. Typing in their first and last name is their username, or they can type in their Jupiter ID, which is the last 4 numbers of their username, to log in if they come to school. Very vital, make sure the spelling is correct for our school name. Heritage is kind of hard to spell sometimes for the kiddos. And then we did change this after I made the PowerPoint, but the password is, and it actually is the whole school, not just K through 4th, but it is first initial, last initial, capital C, lowercase HA, 2020 ***. Lowercase c? Okay, all lowercase. Next slide. All right, when logging in, like I said, the username is the child's first name, last name. It is not the parent's. I tried to set up a parent account and I had to be a student. It has to be your student's first and last name. Once you're logged in, you will see your dashboard. So this is what your dashboard is. Dashboard is your messages. So if a teacher sends you a message in the inbox, this is where it'll show up. So if we can go ahead and get those, did every teacher give their parents their password? Does everybody have their Jupiter passwords? What? Okay. Because we were trying to do this all at one time. Anyways, you should have gotten your password so you can go ahead and log in. But if not, I guess you'll get that at a later date. But something at a very, very, very important is changing your school year from 2019 to no go back. Thank you. 2019-2020 to 2020-2021. If you were here last year, that is for you. If you were not here last year, don't worry about that. But very important to change the school year or you're not going to be able to see the new features. All right, now you can go to the next one. Okay, clicking the 4 lines at the top, this will show your dash or your sidebar is what I guess I call it. But this is your everything. This is where you're seeing your calendar, your to-do. To-do is your child's due dates, messages, files that are uploaded. I believe this is where we're going to upload links from our recorded meetings, report card, attendance, and directory. All right. Next one, massive update. So last year we had 3 different views. We had a teacher view, a student view, and a parent view. So it was really hard for us teachers to explain what the parents were seeing versus what the students were seeing because we all 3 had different views on this platform. This year it's now 2 views. It is the teacher view and then a student/parent view. So the update was it is now more user-friendly. Your portals look exactly alike. And in order to virtual meet, they now have an option where it's a video button. So you would click the class that you want to go into virtually. And then, again, it has to be a student. I learned this the hard way. It cannot be a parent logged in. It has to be a student in order to get onto the video. And then they just select the video, and they are now shot over to the Google Meet. That also helps the teachers. The teachers have the same thing. So with selecting the class, all your students will have computer, except for kindergarten, they don't have computer. But first and up have computer and Spanish, correct? Okay. So if they're self-contained, which is 1st through 5th, they only have to click one class, spelling, reading, math, or whatever there is. But if they're going to computer, then they have to select computer. If they're going to Spanish, then they have to select Spanish and then click that video meet button. Because Spanish, computer, and all of their individual classes will have different video meet links. So that's super important to know. If you have more questions on that, I will be glad to go into that further. Google Meet is going to be the video platform that we use to record our meetings. And yes, our meetings will be recorded. That benefit is if your child forgot how to do the math lesson or just needs a couple more questions answered, they're able to go back to that recording and seeing that lesson. And we'll only keep the recordings for a week so we can save space on our drives. But they are uploaded and you have access to those. There is students are able to ask questions via a chat feature. So to limit all the kids screaming at the same time, because I know little kids love just talking to everyone, we'll be muting the microphones for the students just so they don't, get too excited and scream. If they want to ask a question, they can raise their hand just like if they were in class, or they can type out their question. Little kids may not know how to type out those questions of what they're wanting, so if they raise their hand, their teacher can unmute them, and then they can proceed to ask their question, which they'll find that is really exciting. Let's see. And then I already talked about the last part. All right. That's all I have.
All right, now we went through that fast, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't catch all that. Have no fear. We printed all this out. So all those PowerPoints are printed out, and your teacher's going to hand that to you when you have that time with them in just a few minutes. Let me say this, that if your child starts running a fever at school, we will have 2 separate places to send them to that will have cameras on them so that we can isolate them, but yet still keep our eyes on them. If your child gets sent home sick, the nice feature about all of this and having the virtual accessibility is that once they get home, if they are feeling still good enough to do work, they can get on your iPad, your computer, and click on and be hearing everything that the teacher is teaching that day. Or if they feel like crud when they get home, but tomorrow they're feeling better, you have up to 1 week to go back and review that whole day's teaching, okay? Now, it's not going to be 7 hours straight of teaching. Every subject, the teacher will click on and off when they're done teaching, and it will be a snippet, okay, of that teaching, all right? And any question time. Individual seat work, they're not videoing, okay? But if your student has a question, they will still be able to access their teacher for those who are at home doing virtual learning, okay? Again, this is all new for us, just like it is for every other school. There is a learning curve. So please be patient with us. Please ask those questions. If my staff doesn't know, they're going to find the answer and they're going to get it back to you as quick as they can, okay? But I think we have a pretty good grasp of how things are going to go. On Monday, at 10 o'clock, 10:30, every teacher was online teaching, videoing. We had iPads throughout the building. All the daycare was online streaming, so we made sure that we weren't going to crash our first day up doing it, and everything went really well. So we're excited about that as well. Your students will be learning how to do all of this each and every day in their classroom. So when they go home and they're sick and they say, I don't know how to do that, don't believe that, okay? That's another reason why we need you to be here, because we need you to understand that the teachers every day are going to be making them do certain things online so that they have to go into Jupiter Ed and be able to click on certain things or be able to upload things to them or whatever, okay? So that if it happens again to where we all have to be home, it's something they're used to doing, okay? We're trying our very best to make life as easy as we can for all of us, okay? Any other questions? I'm fixing to give you time with your teachers, okay? And still get you out of here at 1 o'clock like I promised. So we're doing really good. But if you have a question that you need to ask of me or in general, please do so now. Starting on Friday, you will pull up out front and we will have a teacher, or actually we're hoping to have some church volunteers out there to get your child out of the car. We'll have a staff member, 2 staff people inside taking temps, entering the temps into our computer system, and then our teachers inside. Let me say this too. Thank you for that question. When they come into the fellowship hall at this point in time, I can't let my students just play like we've always done. Again, that breaks my heart. So when they come in, they have to go sit where their class normally sits at. So if you drop your child off at 7:30, they need to have a book to read, okay? Because that's basically all they're going to get to do, all right? Now, please don't everybody wait until 7:55 and pull up out here, okay? That's going to be a nightmare for us, all right? But just know that if your child's used to, and please tell them that ahead of time, if they're used to coming in and playing for a little while, that's not going to happen. I will also tell you that we are doing PE. Miss Jessica did research on how we can do PE 6 feet apart, blah, 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 blah. I said, we're not doing that. You will have a form that you have to sign off on. Your child can either do PE the way we've always done PE, or we will respect your wishes and you say, my child cannot do PE, and they will sit up on the stage and they will have a PE assignment to do while the rest of the class does PE, okay? And I don't mean to single them out, but at the same time, we just felt like these kids need their PE time. And it's really, there's very limited of things that we can do of making it fun and giving them that opportunity to get some energy out, okay? So just know there's a form coming that you'll have to sign off on that, all right? And again, we're gonna respect each other's differences on that, all right? Other questions? Thank you. I did tell you that we have assigned bathrooms and lunch is in assigned rooms as well for right now. Okay, no other questions? Okay. Students, for you new families, drop-off is out in front of Fellowship Hall. We ask that you come all the way down to the end of this parking lot. You'll turn in on Crestline or whatever that street is. Come in the end and come all the way around to the front of Fellowship Hall. So your passenger side is right next to the sidewalk, and then you'll pull on down. If you are parking or if you need to walk up your student for any reason at any time, do not park right out here. Park on the Sierra Drive parking spaces or in the parking lot and walk your student over if that's something you need to do, if you need to communicate something with a teacher, okay? And then pickup is in Sierra Drive. You'll come all the way down to this end by my playground area, come in, and there'll be 2 lines for you to get in, and we'll bring the students out to you, okay? Yes. Please do not, when you're coming down Sierra Drive, there's actually 3 lines, I'm sorry, 2 lines. It's been 5 months, I forget what we do. There's 3 lines in the parking lot. Please pull on in the parking lot. Do not block the street. We have a school bus that comes through there. This is a residential area, people's coming onto their house, and they get very irritated with us. So feel free, if there's a backup, somebody call me. Don't text me because I'm not going to see my text. Call me or call the school office and say, hey, we got a traffic jam out here, and we'll come fix that, okay? Even if you don't like being in that 3rd line, I'm going to make you go there so that we can get the street empty, okay? Other questions? No? All right, I'm going to give you time with your teachers. Again, if you have multiple children, the youngest grade teacher has all of the paperwork from the other teachers for you, okay? So you don't feel like you have to get to everybody, okay? So this is your time. As soon as you're done with your teacher, you're free to go. Thank you for being here. We will see, your teacher will tell you what time to get on the Google Meet for their Meet the Teacher with their students tomorrow. And then we'll see everybody at 8 a.m. on Thursday, okay? And see Jennifer at the table out there whenever you leave as well. All right, so teachers, here's your time. I'll let you know when it's 1 o'clock if you're not done.